everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you. Happy 2024. Happy belated holidays, whatever you celebrate. First off, I just want to say if the lighting looks a little bit different in today's video, it's because I usually have like a lamp that goes, you wouldn't be able to see it, but it covers a pretty substantial amount of space and it lights up a lot of my face in my videos. That broke and I need to get a new one. And I forgot how important it was to my filming setup before I actually sat down to film this. So yeah, I will be ordering a new one soon. But yeah, so we're just kind of having to deal. I hope this is okay. I'll do my best in like post to make it look like my videos usually do, but I'm not making any promises. Today, since it's been a while since I've sat down to film, I had a couple more videos planned after my colossal Amberlynn Reid history lesson video, but after that, my full-time job has been uncharacteristically busy for the last few months, and then after doing that mammoth of a video, I was feeling myself getting a little burnt out, I fear. So I just made the decision to take the time off through the new year, go home with my girlfriend to Michigan for Christmas, and it was really nice, and I hope everybody else had a really nice holiday as well. But yeah, I haven't sat down to film in a while, so I feel a little out of practice. I've been wanting to talk about this topic anyways, and so I figured this was a good video to get back into the swing of things with. We're going to be talking about the fat activist conversation, or conversations rather, particularly on TikTok, but I've seen this on many corners of the internet, like on Instagram and stuff like that, regarding New Year's resolutions, particularly the New Year's resolution to lose weight, which is always like the number one, if not like top 3 New Year's resolution that people make for themselves every year. And I wanted to talk about this because for me, it's a very nuanced topic because I actually agree with some of the points that they make, and I'll talk about that. But I just went and I found some TikToks talking about New Year's and New Year's resolutions and the increase in advertising that we get for fad diets and unhealthy diets, and all of that usually happens within the new year because the diet industry knows that this is a common thing that people go into the new year wanting to do. And some of them are from like 2023, some of them are going into 2023. Some of them are a little bit older, but it's still the same conversation. And I just want to talk about it today, so that's what we're gonna do. But before we get into today's video, I want to thank today's video sponsor, Dipsea. Now, we've talked about Dipsea before on this channel. I truly think that Dipsea is a super unique service in the realm of sexual wellness. If you don't know what Dipsea is, it's an app designed by women for women that is all sexy audio to help you turn yourself on and also empower yourself in and out of the bedroom. Dipsea's stories are all feminist, sex positive, and inclusive, and there's a catalog of 500 plus stories that is constantly growing every single week, so there's always something new to choose from. But on top of that, Dipsea members get access to things like wellness sessions, which help you learn about yourself, take care of yourself, love yourself, and they also offer less explicit bedtime stories, soundscapes, and written stories. They also have these things called sleepovers, which I really love, in that that's a Dipsea character talking to you in your ears, and they're just like hanging out with you while they like grade papers or play guitar or whatever, and it's all meant to make you feel cozy and comfortable and help you go to sleep. I think I've talked about this before the last time that I featured Dipsea on my channel, but I think that they're a really good option for people who may be new to erotica or the sexual wellness sphere, or if you're looking to, if you're looking to explore different parts of your sexuality that maybe you haven't done that, maybe you haven't yet, because I feel like audio is a lot less intimidating and a lot less jarring than like video is. And yeah, so I think Dipsea is great for people who already maybe really know what they like, or people who are looking to explore new things, or just learn new things about themselves. So let Dipsea be your go-to for me time and exploring your fantasies, and maybe even heating things up with a partner if the mood arises and you feel like using it for that. For my viewers, Dipsea is offering an extended 30-day free trial at the link in my description box below, which is dipseastories.com/MeganAnn. That is DIPSEA stories.com/MeganAnn, which is MEGANANNE. And yeah, so that is a 30 days of full access when you go to dipseastories.com/MeganAnn. So that link, which is again dipseastories.com/MeganAnn, will be linked down below if you want to go give it a whirl. Thank you so much to Dipsea for sponsoring today's video, and thank you so much to you guys for constantly interacting with my content so that brands like Dipsea want to keep working with me. I really do think Dipsea is something special. So be sure to go check it out if you're interested. Thank you so much, and let's get back into the video. I want to talk a little bit more before we start the reaction. I wanted to make this, again, like I said, because I know it's a nuanced topic, right? But also because like I for the first time in a really long time have made the New Year's resolution for myself to lose weight and get healthier again. I think I'm gonna make a whole video. It'll probably go up at the end of this month, kind of like talking about what 2023 was like for me and why I gained weight. Obviously the real the bare bones reason is just I ate too much and moved too little, right? But a lot happened in 2023, and I feel like I really lost my sense of self when it came to my health and fitness and all of that, and I don't like how I'm feeling. And so yeah, that is a big goal that I set for myself this year, and I'm starting that by seeing all the relevant medical professionals this month. But yeah, that'll all go up. That video will go up at the end of the month. It's just going to be a little like chit chat, get ready with me kind of thing. So if you're interested in that, be on the lookout for that. But I've just been thinking about a lot about this topic recently. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it in regards to how fat activists approach it online, because I agree with some of the stuff that they say, but also I think some of the things that they say are very backhanded, or like they contradict themselves a lot. So yeah, I don't know, let's just get into it.
Friends, happy 2024. Just wanted to pop on, give you a couple of reminders. Number one, you don't have to make your body smaller in order to love it and respect it. Your body is perfect the way it is. You're going to be seeing a lot of ads in the coming weeks for different diets and weight loss programs. You do not have to do them. Instead of making your intentions or resolutions to be to lose weight, maybe reframe them and say, I want to learn a new sport, or I want to try a new machine at the gym, or I want to incorporate more green foods in my diet instead. Those will be much more sustainable goals than to simply lose weight. Because remember, 95% of diets don't work, and you will gain back all the weight, and usually more. Secondly, you don't have to put a ton of pressure on yourself with the new year. If you just want to try and keep surviving, that's okay. Some of us just need to survive one day at a time. And finally, I am really proud of you for making it through 2023. I know it was not easy, but we made it. So look at you, you little badass.
Just a friendly reminder, as we go into the new year and are bombarded by the diet industry, you do not need to lose weight. And there are ways that we can pursue our health goals this year that don't depend on a scale. Love you.
Okay, so I kind of included those two together because they were more or less saying the same thing. And I do absolutely agree with the fact that like the diet industry and some of the less favorable sides of the diet industry really do latch on to the fact that people typically go into the new year wanting to lose weight, because that is something that, like, for one reason or another, a lot of people feel like they need to do or want to do. And I do think that those less favorable sides of the diet industry do latch on to that, and I think they do prey on people's insecurities, and I think that's a whole other issue, a whole other topic for a different video, which I am planning on starting a like fad diet history lesson series on my channel this year, because I do think the histories of a lot of those are really, really interesting. So things like Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, Atkins, all that kind of stuff. I do plan on doing that. Even things like OxyShred or like those supplements and stuff that you can get over the counter in the pharmacy, or at least you could back in the early 2000s. Because I do think that those corporations really do prey on people's insecurities and people's wanting just to like get healthier. And I think that's something that is a valid topic of conversation. I do take issue with the first one being like, you're probably gonna fail. Saying that 95% of diets fail, which that statistic comes from fad diets and things that are unsustainable. If you go to like any medical professional, at least any medical professional that's like worth your time, they will tell you that the most important part of starting a weight loss journey or a health journey is doing so sustainably. So like, don't go totally like balls to the wall like when 2024 rolls around, right? Make smaller, sustainable changes and start building on those. And that is something that I'm doing for myself right now. I am working on just adding more vegetables to each of my meals. I'm tracking my food again. I'm making just smaller, sustainable steps for myself so that I'm not setting myself up to fail. Whereas when you start these fad diets and stuff like that, they do fail a lot of times because they are very, very different from what you're usually doing before you start them. And so you're like, holy shit, this is a lot, you know? But just saying like, you're perfect the way you are. And also if you do want to be smaller, you're probably going to fail. Seems really hypocritical to the body positivity. They're more of a fat acceptance creator, but I just think they contradict themselves a lot by saying like, you're perfect the way you are, like you're doing just fine. But also if you want to lose weight, just remember that you're probably going to fail and just like focus on trying a new thing at the gym or like adding more green foods to your diet, which to that, I also want to say like, I haven't particularly seen that creators say this, but a lot of fat activists say like if somebody, specifically when they're talking about like a popular fat activist creator or body positivity creator losing weight or starting a health journey, I have seen other fat activists call out that bigger creator for being like, well, they just want to lose weight, but they don't want to come out and say it. So they're saying that they're doing it for their health or like they're doing it for their mental health or whatever. And so I'm like, are you actually gonna believe the person when they say like, oh, I'm just adding like more green foods to my diet, or I just want to start this new thing at the gym and like see what happens? Are you actually going to believe them if they tell you that it's not to lose weight? Or are you just going to be like, well, they're lying? Because I've seen them do that so often and it grinds my gears every time. When it comes to Fat Sapphic Bros TikTok, I was not surprised to see that they made one based on this topic either. They've always been of the mindset that like you don't need to lose weight to manage your health, which is a very, very common fat activism talking point, right? But I do think, and I haven't looked into this so much, but I remember when I was researching my original video on them, I do think that they like work with their doctor to like manage how much insulin they get to accommodate their diet because they have diabetes. And so for me, that just seems like not like a good thing to be doing or not like a sustainable thing to be doing. But yeah, I just wanted to put those two in here for that reason.
Happy New Year, everyone. Just a quick reminder that fat people do not owe you making a New Year's resolution about weight loss. And if a fat person does decide that weight loss is what they want to do this year, it's not because somebody has made enough cruel and hateful comments to them, supposedly concerned about their health. We all know the truth is you're not concerned about health, you just don't like fat people existing. And there's still gonna be fat people in 2023, whether you like it or not. But maybe we can leave the hatred and fat phobia behind in 2022?
I hear any of you say that your New Year's resolution is to lose weight.
People in that comment section are offended. What, am I not allowed to better myself? What are you, against being healthy? Vowing to exercise more, eat healthier, and lose weight were the top 3 New Year's resolutions this year. And every year! There is a $1 billion industry invested in you wanting to lose weight. Nobody is stopping you. But also maybe some people just don't actually care. And I can already hear all of the weight loss coaches and former fat people and crybaby trainers being like, they're just stopping you from achieving your goal, and if you hire me, I can do this. The persecution complex on those people is so embarrassing. You're not stomping feet, tantrum mad about someone not being able to achieve their health goals. You're mad at the mere suggestion there are people out there that don't care about trying to achieve a body size you've convinced yourself is morally superior. The idea that there are people who want to make goals that don't revolve around making their body smaller sends you spiraling.
Okay, so I put those two together because, again, they're relatively similar. Since it's the new year, I've gained subscribers over the last few months, which, by the way, hi, thanks for getting me to over 60,000. I'm flabbergasted. I just need it out there. I have no issue with fat people wanting to remain fat, okay? I have no issue with that whatsoever. I still am fat people, okay? So I have no issue with fat people or fat people wanting to remain fat. That's not an issue that I have. My issue is with the fat activist movement and the fat acceptance movement and the fat liberation movement, whatever you want to call it. Just spewing false information or making people feel bad for making decisions about their own life and their own body, right? And so, like, I'm not spiraling when I hear someone say, I don't want to lose weight, I just want to stay the way I am. I don't give a shit. Like, that's you. You have the right to do whatever you want to do to your body, so I don't care. And this is where I do take issue with the greater conversation surrounding New Year's resolutions on social media with this particular group of people. You have the right to do whatever you want with your body, and if you want to lose weight in the new year, then lose weight in the new year, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. And like, if you're doing it for your health, if you're doing it to function better, if you're doing it just to feel like you're more attractive, like, there's no issue for that, like with that, because it's your own body. And I think that's like one of my biggest issues with the fat activist movement as it is now is like they keep moving the goalposts, right? Because like the whole topic surrounding New Year's resolutions and stuff used to be like they were fat phobic and whatever, but now it's all, and this is how it is with a lot of their talking points now. Now it's like, oh, just do it for your health. Don't do it to make your body smaller. We don't owe you making our body smaller. We don't owe you weight loss. Like they're like, oh, that's fine if you're doing it for your health, but doing it for intentional weight loss is fat phobic. When it comes to the messaging as a whole, I think there is just a whole boatload of hypocrisy in them saying, you can't tell us what to do with our bodies. You can't tell us that it's not okay to be fat. You can't tell us blah, blah, blah. But we can tell you what to do or what not to do with your body, because that still very much is a narrative in this community. There's so much hypocrisy there, and I really think there's a lot of hypocrisy in this specific conversation regarding resolutions as well. Like, you can't tell us that we should make our New Year's resolutions to lose weight, but like we can tell you not to make your New Year's resolutions to lose weight. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. It's just very confusing to me. On to the next one. Sorry, I got really stuffy all of a sudden. I don't know why, but we're here, so sorry.
I hate New Year's resolutions because for me, they've always been about weight loss. I don't think there's been a single year where I haven't said, you know what, I'm gonna lose weight this year. And I know a lot of y'all can relate to that. That is literally about to go into my eye. At the beginning of every year, there's just this immense pressure to be a better version of myself, which means a skinnier version of myself. Also, I ripped off my acrylics, so ignore my nubby nails. Anyways, I no longer believe that a skinnier version of myself is a better version of me. But what I hate seeing on my FYP, my timeline, whatever, is everyone else saying that. Because frankly, it's just not true. Skinnier does not mean healthier, does not mean better. In fact, when I was at my smallest and had just lost 70 pounds, I was my least healthy. Like, I was eating 900 calories a day. Is it fine to want to become a healthier version of yourself in the new year? Obviously. But equating healthier to skinnier is frankly just inaccurate. And frankly, having all of your New Year's resolutions revolve around your body is setting yourself up for failure. Because if it's this time next year, as in the end of 2023, and you haven't lost the weight, you'll feel like a failure, like you just wasted another year. To clarify, I'm not saying that you did waste another year. I'm just saying that's how you'll feel. Anyways, once I stopped making the new year all about weight loss, I started actually looking forward to a new year. And I genuinely wish that mindset upon everyone. Okie dokie, the look is finished. And if you're writing New Year's resolutions, this is your formal reminder that how good your year is should not be dependent on if you lose or gain weight. You are perfect the way you are. Love you, besties.
Okay, so I actually really like that creator. I think they are very fun. I think they are very fun. But I will say, like, I also understand, like, the kind of I do understand the level of freedom that they're talking about when they're saying, like, for the first time, I'm not making my New Year's resolution to lose weight. Because I think, specifically if you've grown up fat, which I did, you can understand. And there's another TikTok coming that's surrounding this too. It's hard growing up and having people all the time telling you that there's something wrong with you, right? And that you need to fix something about you. I think that gets really exhausting, and it also really affects you in adulthood. I've worked on that even as someone who has lost pretty good amount of weight. Like, I still work on that. Again, in that video we saw, if you want to be a healthier version of yourself, great. But, like, you don't need to lose weight. But, like, for some people, being a healthier version of themselves is losing weight. Like, and I've seen that. Like, I've seen both ends of that coin, like, or both sides of that coin. I do feel them at saying, like, when they were at their smallest, they were at their unhealthiest, because that was how I was when I reached my lowest weight. I was bordering a restrictive ED. I'm very thankful that I did not go face first into it, but I was not feeding myself properly. I was not caring. I just wanted to get smaller. And so, like, I understand the toxicity of that mindset as well, because honestly, underfeeding myself and the increased stress levels that I had at the time caused me to have a stress-induced seizure. Don't really want that to happen again. So I can understand that as well. But I think the issue with that point, with that talking point, is, like, it's often talked about in extremes. And so, like, you'll have fat activists being like, well, when I was XYZ pounds and I was eating so many calories a day, I was the unhealthiest I've ever been. But now, when I'm, like, super morbidly obese, like, now I feel the healthiest I've ever been. And if that's how you feel, if that's what you're cool with, then, like, good on you. Do what you want to do. There is a middle there. And I think that's kind of my goal this year, is, like, achieving that middle ground, because honestly, I felt the best in my whole journey up until this point when I was like 215 pounds, 100 pounds down. I lost 100 pounds. I started at 315 and I was lifting regularly. I was eating well. Like, I felt the best energy wise, capability wise. I felt the best there. And so that's my first, like, stretch goal, is to get back down to there. There is a middle. And that's all I want to say, is, like, it's not like you're starving yourself and you're super unhealthy, or you're gorging yourself and you feel like you're mentally well, but you're, like, really harming yourself, you know? Like, there is a middle ground there, and I feel like that's a conversation that, like, even people on the fitness end of things, like, don't talk about, is that, like, finding that middle ground for a lot of people, specifically people who have grown up fat, is so important. And for me, it feels realistic for me to get back to that point again. It doesn't feel unattainable, and because it is, like, that middle ground. And if I keep losing weight after that, that's great, but that's my first, like, middle that I'd like to get to. And yeah, and I think that's where I take issue with a lot of the resolution talk as well, is, like, they treat people saying they want to get healthier or they want to lose weight in the new year as, like, this extreme, which for some people they do phrase it that way, especially online, and that's just what the internet is. It's just talking in extremes a lot of the time. And so I get where people are finding issue with that, for sure, but, like, for a lot of people, the answer for them is somewhere in the middle, and it's not because they hate fat people, and it's not because they want to starve themselves. It's just because they want to feel healthier and they want to feel better about themselves for whatever reason. I think there is no issue with being like, I want to be hot, okay? I want to be hot. Listen, it's 2024. My 10-year high school class reunion, if we're having one, I'm not sure, is this year, right? I want to look good for that, okay? I want to feel good for myself. I want to look good for myself. But for some reason, I feel like looking good for that, right? And that'll probably be sometime in the summer if we do have one. I do feel like I'm probably going to get roped into planning it, and I don't really feel like doing that. But my best friend is getting married this year, and I'm going to her wedding. I want to look good for the wedding. Pictures, you know? Like, there's no harm in saying that. And I think the new topic of conversation is like, oh, I'm losing weight for my health. Which, like, yes, that should be your first goal. And I've always said with bariatric surgery, for me, the weight loss was just a happy side effect because there was so many things going wrong inside my body that, like, I've cared more about fixing those first. But now it's like, I just don't want to reverse what I had fixed, but also I want to feel good about myself and I want to look hot for how I feel I look hot, right? And for me, I kind of want to be like somewhat not a muscle mommy, but like I want to be strong, okay? I want to be Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3 for Halloween. Like a little bit chubbier of a version, but that's what I want. That's my goal. And that's okay. It's okay to have aesthetic goals. It's not fat phobic. It's just something you want to do for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Can I see where the conversation comes from of like you wanting to be thinner to feel hot is like a dig or a slight at fat people? Yes. But like what people want to do with their own bodies is what people want to do with their own bodies. And I really think the conversation should end there. But it doesn't. And so that's why I'm here.
Let's have a real moment really quick. It's that time of year where you start to see the transformations, right? The like before my terrible, ugly self and now my glowed up, beautiful self. Or you see the start of those and you see the, oh, I just can't wait, you know, in a year, like, let's see what happens. And I want to be clear that this is no shame to people that want to change themselves. Like, if that's something that you want to do, amazing. As somebody who has only ever been in a fat body, and I know this is a conversation that's happening already on TikTok, but it is so, so hard to see videos like that. Since I was a little kid, and even now, I know that if I were to change my body, the amount of attention I would get would be astronomical. The amount of like kindness that I would receive from men, honestly, would be huge. The lack of stares and condescending comments, it would all change. And it's one of those things that genuinely make me really sad because I've never experienced what that's like on the other side. And I know that people who lose weight, there's no healthy way to do it mentally. Like, yes, you can physically do it healthily, but mentally, you're still stuck in that body that you started with. And often people who lose a lot of weight tend to hate the body that they started with, which also just makes me incredibly sad because that body got you to the point where you're at now. Every time around this year or around this time of year, I am constantly flooded with these feelings of what if? What if you just do it? What if you do just starve yourself a bit to just look like that? And the worst part is that I know if I did, and I know if I did it even in the most unhealthily way, truly starving myself, all I would receive is compliments. And that it just sucks. It just sucks. And every fat person has said this and feels this. And it's the world isn't very kind to those of us that don't look the way that we're supposed to. And it's really frustrating. So if you are like me and you are seeing all of these transformations, just remember that if you hate yourself in this body, you're going to hate yourself in that body, even if the world around you doesn't hate it anymore. You're worthy no matter what.
Okay, so this is the last one that I wanted to talk about in regards to this whole conversation, because this one, like, I can really relate to, because I have felt and thought pretty much everything that this person talks about in this TikTok. I have the added experience of I have been thinner than I am now, much thinner than I started off as, and I've been much bigger than I am now, and much bigger than I was at my very, very smallest size, that I ever got to. And like, I haven't made a whole video on the before and after photo conversation, because I can really understand like both sides of that, because I remember as like a young fat kid, like fat girl in particular, seeing other girls talk about their weight loss and all of that kind of stuff. And like, I just remember feeling like shameful internally, seeing that, being like, well, I am the before, like, and what's wrong with that? But also I still could see like flipped their health, like they got healthier. Like for me, even at a very young age, weight loss was always more approached as like a health-based thing than like an aesthetics thing, for the most part, from adults in my life. And so I always saw it as like, oh, this person like got healthier, is getting healthier, and like good for them. But also part of me was like, well, I am the before. Like, what does that mean about me? Like, am I not desirable? Like romantically or otherwise? Like, am I less than? I remember having those thoughts when I was younger. So I get that conversation, but I don't think that potentially hurting someone's feelings is a reason to not share your success online, because I do think that like before and after pictures are a celebratory thing for a lot of people, especially me. Like I used to post before and after pictures a lot, and for me it also helped me kind of see what I actually looked like or the progress that I actually made. And it was never like a dig at other fat people. Like that's not ever what I intended from that. I understand that fat people could take issue with that, and I understand. And so I think like the topic of before and after photos can be nuanced. Do I think that it's up to the viewer to manage their triggers? Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of the issue lies. There is a lot of people who take issue with before and after pictures have a lot of work to do internally and make it so that their triggers are managed the best that they can be. And so there's that. And I have been on the opposite end of the fat spectrum, I guess. Even now when I'm like above 200 pounds, like I still get treated much, much differently than I did when I was over 300 pounds. And I made a whole video on that, I think. It was like one of my very first videos, like prepare to see a much smaller Megan. But I think I made a whole video on that. And yeah, no, it's true. Like you do get treated differently, and that is a tough pill to swallow. And also I think the conversation surrounding mental health and weight loss, and like if you're not mentally happy or mentally sound in your fat body, then you're probably not going to be in your smaller body, is 100% true. And I knew that going into weight loss. Like I knew that it was most likely going to open up another can of worms, and I was like fully prepared for that. And I'm fully prepared for it. Again, I feel like I'm more prepared for it now than I was before, especially because I'm older as well. But like weight loss is not the magic bullet that changes everything. Like if you are depressed before you lose weight, you're still gonna be depressed after you lose weight. Like it's just how it is for a lot of people. And I'm not saying that like in absolutes, but it's just a very common experience that I have heard and from other people who have lost a significant amount of weight. And oftentimes I've heard, and I can agree with this, that like your mental health and your body image oftentimes can get worse after weight loss, because you are way more almost aware of your body and what it looks like and how it's feeling and how it's functioning and performing than you ever were before. At least that's how I am. I have OCD, so that could just be more of a thing for me. But like that is something I experienced. And I think that's why this past year I have had a lot of issues feeling like a failure, because I did gain more weight last year. Granted, last year in 2023, it was a very hard year for me mentally. And so weight loss and all that kind of just got pushed to the back burner while I sorted everything else out. But I did, and I still am dealing with a lot of feelings of feeling like a failure, because I am super aware of my body and how it's functioning and how my clothes are fitting and stuff like that, when like before I lost weight, I didn't care about any of that really. It took me getting some blood work back for me to be like, oh, I gotta change something. And I think that the topic of people losing weight in really unhealthy ways, or because of like medical problems or whatever, and still getting complimented because at the end of the day, like, it is weight loss, like, is also a very interesting topic, probably for another video, because I have gotten that too. Like, if I got the flu once and I like lost 10 pounds, like, so it would be like, well, you look great, and I'm like, well, you know, I think that whole conversation is also very nuanced, but I can understand the need for the fat activist conversation surrounding New Year's resolutions, because the fact of the matter is, even if you are making a New Year's resolution to lose weight, like, it's not going to happen overnight, and like, you're still going to be fat for a while until you're not. Like, that's kind of how it is. And I really think that the issue that I take with the fat acceptance conversation surrounding surrounding New Year's resolutions is that they frame a New Year's resolution to lose weight oftentimes as like an act of self-hatred, when, like, I've said this time and time again, but I really think that losing weight and getting healthier is like one of the biggest acts of self-love that you can do for yourself, if it's something that like you want to do and you need to do, because you're prolonging your life. Like, I mean, barring anything else major happening, like, you're prolonging your life, or you're making your life just easier to live. And I think that is one of the biggest acts of self-love that you can do for yourself. And I lost that in 2023, and I'm really excited to get it back. And yeah, so I'm going to talk about more about that in the video that I talked about at the beginning. But yeah, I wanted to make this video because I really think like this is a very nuanced conversation, and but I just wanted it out there that, like, from someone who has been bigger than I am now, but also someone who's been smaller than I am now, do whatever the hell you want this year with your body. If you don't want to lose weight, great, cool, whatever. If you do, awesome, cool, whatever. I have videos on that mostly as it pertains to weight loss, but I have videos on that, and like, I'm right there with you this year, besties, and it's something that I'm taking very seriously this year, and I mean it, because I need to do something about it. And so yeah, I just wanted to make this video because I think it's very interesting. It's a very interesting, nuanced conversation. For sponsoring today's video, and thank you to them for being so flexible. The ad read at the beginning of this video I filmed a while ago, but I just want to say here, thank you so much to them for being so flexible with me when I took my unexpected break, because this ad read was supposed to go up last month, but my brain was like, nah, we gotta take a break. So thank you so much to them for being so flexible with me. I really, really appreciate it. And just a reminder that if you want to check out that 30-day free trial, check out the link in my description. It will be dipseastories.com/Megan Ann. That's DIPSEA stories.com/MEGANANNE. And yeah, let me know if you try it down below, because I am interested. And yeah, thank you guys, thank you to them, and thank you guys so much for your continued support of my channel. Like, we hit over 60,000, and the fact that 100K is like even kind of on the horizon based on how my channel's been growing recently is bonkers bananas to me. And I cannot thank you guys, my viewers, enough for your continued support of my channel, and just keeping it an overall, like, very kind place to be on the internet. I cannot thank you enough. I'm so excited to see what this year has for us. And yeah, thank you guys so much for making it this far into the video. Leave a, like, fireworks emoji. Is that a thing? If not, do the sparkle emoji and or both. Just leave that, okay? Whatever you feel like. Whatever you feel encapsulates your new year. Leave that below, all right? Because I want to see. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go to the gym. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, drink your water, take your meds, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.